So I know everybody kind of sort of knows what's going on in the world. You know, it really just depends on if you're paying attention, if you listen, if you're not being distracted by anything and everything, which is exactly what they want. But if you pay attention to anything in the news, and especially when it comes to like the tech bros, you're going to realize pretty quickly that they're basically trying to implement a surveillance state here in the United States. And it's cropping up with the whole flock thing. It is cropping up like when you listen to people like Peter Thiel, or you will listen to people like Larry Ellison. They basically want to control every single thing that you say, that you do, and every which way that you move here in the United States of America. I wish I were joking. Like, they've actually said this in public. I'm not sure if they are attempting to institute what's basically an open air prison, where you are tracked at every single stage, like throughout the day, where they want like your name, they want your number, they want your face, they want everything about you, and yet they have all of the technology in the world to manipulate all of that data and basically charge you as guilty and never assuming that you're innocent. Like, it's getting to, like, you know, that TV show, like the Minority Report? It's that. If you know what Palantir is, it's basically predictive technology. And unfortunately, I have witnessed up close and personal that they will use like reactive abuse on individuals to attempt to get them to perform in a way that they want you to perform, in order to use it as justification and proof and evidence against you. They're basically creating or setting the stage for you to perform badly. As in, they're forcing you. They're trying to get you into that stage. I'm sure there's a lot of people who won't believe me, but as somebody who's witnessed that up close and unfortunately personally, it's not good. They'll sit there and they will use very specific visuals to gaslight the shit out of you. No, it's not funny. This is not funny. This is not a joke. For those of you who have been seeing my posts about targeted individuals, that shit is 100% real. I've also caught military planes up by my house, metal with a red star on the back. I caught a military plane which looked like over LC Hospital. There was a chopper just the other day, and yet nobody had contacted a chopper, and it was literally over the building. I spoke to a local individual who says that, and he's going to say anonymous, but civilians within the area are using their own personal planes, and they're flying them without lights at night. Another individual has caught military planes up by where that person lives. And what they did, and what most people are completely and totally unaware of, is that they took the concept of the Stasi state, and if you go look up Stasi, S-T-A-S-I, it's basically the German police. And the German police basically had locals who were on their payroll, and they were informants. And those same informants would basically perform actions for the Stasi completely illegally, and it would be considered okay because they were basically working for a communist authoritarian government. So it was considered okay. And targeted individuals are exactly that. They are illegally using or performing actions on citizens and on the public, really without much of authority. Like they have overstepped their authority into a place that I don't even recognize anymore. And I think most of us can probably nod our head at least some part and be like, yeah, that's kind of sort of accurate. Like that's kind of what we're seeing kind of crop up, and that's where we're going here in the United States. And everybody was wondering how like the whole files thing was capable of being performed. Like, oh my god, you know, this was in the news, and how were they able to get away with it? Because they're all in your agencies, dude. You handed them so much power that they're in your government, they're in your agencies, they're utilizing these agencies to be able to perform these actions. Like your cop shops or like your fire departments. I mean, I'm already seeing stuff in the news where these cops are abusing their authority left, right, and center. There are cops being found performing some not so great things on the younger public. Then you got flock cameras. And just connect the dots, guys. The pretty little picture that they're painting for you that life is okay, it's not okay. They're using every distraction tactic in the book to prevent you from recognizing that they are attempting to create what is essentially a one world order. And I know everybody kind of stares at that when they listens to that, and they're just like, oh, you're just joking. Think about everything that they have been combining. You're losing your land. You're losing the ability to farm. You're losing the ability to own your own home. You're losing the ability to own your own land. You can't do anything without a fucking fine or a certificate. This is not a free country, guys. When is the local population going to wake up and realize that these individuals are basically walking you and frog marching you into your own slavery? Because that's where you're currently sitting. This is not free. This is slavery. You're being poisoned with your own food. Your land is being poisoned. Your water is being poisoned. Every single thing is getting taken away from you. And I am watching all of these people just sit there and just take it. And they're not doing anything. They're not standing up and being like, hey, we're not dealing with this. Get out of here. What have we done to ourselves? This is not a political thing. This is this what you want your kids to grow up in thing? This is you are going to lose all of your rights and all of your freedoms because you handed it to people who would rather abuse you at every single stage and then claim it's safety. That is not safety. That is abuse. That is control. That is manipulation at every single stage. And you need to stand up while you still have the choice, or we will quite literally end up in a surveillance state, communist authoritarian style country, because that is where we're headed. And if you think I'm fucking playing, I want you to go take a look over at China. I have nothing against the Chinese people, but I have seen a lot of their videos where they pretty much can't do a fucking thing if they're not appropriate in public. As in, they are shutting down who you are as people and as individuals so hard that you're going to end up just like them, where you can't even get into your own apartment because you said something rude. They can't even get pop out of a pop machine if their social credit score is too low. They don't watch TV over there. This is just from what I've overheard. They don't even watch TV over there because they know it's all state-sponsored propaganda, which is what we are currently watching in our news, in our news cycles. That's what that is. And if you also watch some of the things that have been coming out, MK Ultra, that was absolutely real. And unfortunately, they are still using the exact same tactics and that same playbook currently today in our headlines. Why? Because it gets a reaction. Why do they divide you? Because they can keep you controllable that way, because if you're fighting one another, you're not actually fighting the system that's attempting to destroy you and take everything that you are and everything that you love, so they can be the ones that controls it. I think that's good, and I hope y'all have a good day.